Good morning. My name is Ed Scott, and on behalf of First Unitarian Church of Wilmington, Delaware, I welcome you, those of you here in the sanctuary and those of you joining us online from home. If you're visiting, I encourage you to visit our website, firstuuwilm.org, to find out more information about us, and I also invite you, if you're present, to join us afterwards for refreshments in the parish hall immediately behind the sanctuary. Know that all are welcome here, no matter your ancestral origins, how you identify, no matter who you love, and no matter where you are this morning on your own spiritual journey. Everyone's welcome here. And a special welcome to the children joining us this morning as well. It's good to see you and have you with us in worship. In addition, we also extend a special welcome to our guest musician, C. Karen Covey, who has played the Native American flute for over 15 years as a prayer practice. And she believes the Native American flute produces a mystical and haunting sound that enters the heart and the soul, filling it with beauty and peace, providing a connection with the Creator and all of creation. She is also the founder and facilitator of Whispering Woods Native American Flute Circle, and Karen is a member of the World Flute Society and serves as vice president of the board of directors of the Woodland Heart Ancient Flute Alliance. Welcome, Karen. Also, I've been asked to announce and point out to you that this morning our service is a part of Peace Week Delaware, and this weekend is the kickoff for Peace Week Delaware. In addition, there are two other events being hosted at our church this coming week. On Monday from 7 to 8, you're invited to come find out why how we count the vote makes a difference in whether your vote matters. And we'll be talking about ranked choice voting and the emerging issue of voting rights. On Tuesday from 6 to 8, you can participate here in an interactive workshop experience and learn to lobby Congress for peace advocacy, and the training will be provided by the American Friends Committee on National Legislation. These are just a few of the events that will be taking place over the next week, and you can find out more information about Peace Week Delaware. These cards are at the rear of the sanctuary by the name tags, and also there are more in the vestibule for you to pick up as you leave. And now, let us prepare our whole selves for our time together this morning.
Good morning. I'm Larry Piers, minister here at First Unitarian Church of Wilmington. Are we on? I'm so glad that you're able to be with us today. Our focus in the service is on the Kinship Worldview and the practice of peacemaking. Thank you for that wonderful music as to allow us to enter into our theme today. We're going to say our call to worship together. So if you'll stand, the words will appear on the screen. And I want you to say this after me. In beauty I walk. And maybe you can join in some of the motions of this Navajo blessing with me. With beauty before me I walk. With beauty behind me I walk. With beauty above me I walk. With beauty around me I walk. It has become beauty again.
If you have a chalice at home, I invite you to join us in the ritual of chalice lighting. And each Sunday in Unitarian Universalist congregations, we light a chalice to remind us that our faith is one of justice, inclusion, and peace. This morning, Jackie and Jesse Lukowski will be doing our chalice lighting.
Come into the circle of love and friendship. Come into the community of justice and goodness. Come and you shall know peace and joy.
And now, please stand as you're willing and able for hymn 100, I've Got Peace Like a River.
Peace
Now I ask you to please join me in our unison affirmation of our mission. Together, First Unitarian Church of Wilmington is a beloved community that nourishes minds and spirits, fights injustice, and transforms the world through loving action.
Good morning, everyone. I am the rain. And I want to tell you the story of how the colors made peace with each other, with a little help from me. Once upon a time, the colors of the world started to quarrel. They all claimed that they were the best, the most important, the most useful, the favorite. They argued and bickered and fought, and green said, "Clearly, I am the most important. I'm the color of life and hope. I'm the color of grass and trees and new beginnings. I'm the color of the whole of the countryside. I'm the most important color." Well, blue interrupted. "That's nonsense. I'm far more important. I'm the color of the sky and the water, and without water, everything would die. I'm the most important color, obviously." Yellow chuckled. "Oh, you're all so serious. I'm the color of fun and laughter and giggling. I'm the color of the sunflowers and the sun. Oh, and the moon." We lost Harry. "I make people smile. I'm the most important color." Ugh, we can't lose Bryn's little guy here. So orange started next to blow their trumpets. "You're all wrong. I'm the color of fruits and vegetables, and that's where you get vitamins from. I'm healthy and cheerful. I'm the color of the sunrise. Without the orange sunrise, it would always be nighttime. I'm the most important color." Now, red could stand it no longer and shouted out, "You're so foolish. I'm the color of blood, and blood gives us life. I'm the color of danger and warning and road safety. And fighting and force. I'm definitely the most important color." Purple rose up and spoke with great pomp. "I beg your pardon. I'm the color of kings and important things, and majesty and ceremonies and royalty. People listen when I talk. I'm the most important color." Finally, indigo spoke, much more quietly than all the others, but with just as much determination. "No, no, no. I'm subtle. I'm the color of peace and reflection and silence and thoughtfulness. If it wasn't for me, you'd all go mad with busyness. I'm the most important color." And so the colors went on, boasting, each convinced of their own superiority. Their quarreling became louder and louder and louder until I couldn't take it anymore. With a flash of lightning and a boom of thunder, I, the rain, began to pour down relentlessly. All of the colors gathered together, shivering and shaking in fear, and I said to them, "You foolish colors, fighting amongst yourselves, each trying to dominate the rest. Don't you know that you were each made for a special purpose, unique and different? Join hands with one another and come to me." Go ahead, Matt. Now, doing as they were told, the colors united and joined hands. And I said to them, from now on, when it rains, each of you will stretch across the sky in a great bow of color as a reminder that you can all live in peace. The rainbow is a sign of hope. It is a sign of hope for tomorrow. And from then on, the colors stopped squabbling, started working together, and every so often, when it rains on a sunny day, they get together to make a beautiful display across the sky to remind everyone about peace and cooperation and to celebrate each color's unique gifts. And now, please join in singing our children out to their religious exploration groups. And I'll meet the children in the back of the sanctuary.
Wow, we had a rainbow in this sanctuary today. How wonderful. Let's join together in a time of prayerful meditation. I'll be drawing from the Navajo blessing that we used as part of our call to worship this morning. In beauty, I walk. Imagine for a moment what it would be like for you to be surrounded by beauty and to walk in beauty. Allow whatever images of beauty that come to your own imagination to stir in you that sense of appreciation for the beauty that surrounds us, nurtures us, and sustains us. With beauty before me, I walk. Can we take steps forward inspired by beauty, motivated by beauty? With beauty behind me, I walk. Can we feel supported by the beauty that has nurtured us throughout our lives, that has sustained us? With beauty above me, I walk. Can we open ourselves up to a perspective that is one that calls forth from us a deep appreciation and wonder? Wonder of the skies, wonder of an infinite universe. With beauty around me, I walk. Can we imagine ourselves joining hands in procession with others to create more beauty in this world? It has become beauty again. Today I will walk out. Today everything negative will leave me. I will be as I was before. I will have a cool breeze over my body. I will have a light body. I will be happy forever. Nothing will hinder me, because I will walk with beauty before me. I will walk with beauty behind me. I will walk with beauty below me. I will walk with beauty above me. I will walk with beauty around me. My words will be beautiful. In beauty all day long may I walk. Through the returning seasons may I walk. On the trail marked with pollen may I walk. With dew about my feet may I walk. With beauty before me may I walk. With beauty behind me may I walk. With beauty below me may I walk. With beauty above me may I walk. With beauty all around me may I walk. In old age wandering on a trail of beauty, lively may I walk. In old age wandering on a trail of beauty, living again, may I walk. My words, may they be beautiful. May they create beauty. May they sustain beauty within me and among us. So may it be. Amen. Each week that we come together, we take a moment to attend to the concerns of our own heart for ourselves, for those we love, and for this world that we share. Let's take a moment now in this silence to listen to whatever it is that we are holding in our heart, whatever may be weighing us down. And if you so choose, you may speak those concerns into this room aloud or write them in the chat so that you need not hold any of those alone. So what concerns are on your heart today? I conclude our prayers of the people this morning with these words from Dona Erika Contreras from the Zapotec peoples. We are all one, mentally, physically, and spiritually, to Mother Earth. Let's open our hearts and remember that within us there's a great and powerful divinity. So may all whose names were spoken and those unspoken find peace and healing this day. Our reading this morning is one that comes from Robin Wall, blanking out on her name, Kimmerer, right. I'm having a challenge today because I left my glasses at home. So I'm using these readers, and it doesn't really help me read anything. So we'll just go with it. Beauty will surround us no matter what. So she writes, the honorable harvest, a practice both ancient and urgent, applies to every exchange between people and the earth. Now, its protocol is not written down, but it would look something like this, and she gives us these protocol. Know the ways, the ones who take care of you, so that they may take care, so that you may take care of them. Introduce yourself. Be accountable as the one who comes asking for life. Ask permission of the ones whose lives you seek. Abide by the answer. Never take the first, never take the last. Harvest in a way that minimizes harm. Take only what you need and leave some for others. Use everything that you take. Take only that which is given to you. Share it as the earth has shared with you. Give thanks for what you have been given. Give a gift in the reciprocity for what you have taken. Sustain the ones who sustain you, and the earth will last forever. Though we live in a world made of gifts, we often find ourselves harnessed to institutions and to an economy that relentlessly asks, what more can we take from the earth? In order for balance to occur, we cannot keep taking without replenishing. Don't we need to also ask, what can we give? The honorable harvest, she says, is a covenant of reciprocity between humans and the land. This simple list may seem like a quaint prescription for how to pick berries, but it is the root of a sophisticated ethical protocol that could guide us in a time when unbridled exploitation threatens the life that surrounds us. Western economies and institutions enmesh us all in a profoundly dishonorable harvest. Collectively, by assent or by inaction, we have chosen the policies we live by. We can choose again. So some years ago when I lived in Boston, I would enjoy walking in the North End, the Italian neighborhood of Boston, visiting shops, drinking lots of coffee, and immersing myself in an atmosphere that was reminiscent of the little Italy that my Italian grandparents had settled into in New York City. On some of these occasions, I'd end up at Christopher Columbus Waterfront Park. The park's grassy lawns, the 3 trellises that were decorated with lights sometimes of the year, flower beds, an abundance of shade trees and benches. All of this made this a very cherished spot to view the Boston Harbor. It was one of my favorite spots in Boston, a place where urban life and nature seemed to converge and to provide a sanctuary of sorts. Over time, this peaceful park has also become a center of controversy. Of course, the park, for many of the years that I visited it, had an Italian marble statue of Christopher Columbus. Over the years, this statue of Christopher Columbus was sometimes vandalized. And actually, in June 2020, the figure of Columbus statue was decapitated. And the statue was taken and removed, and it's still in storage, where it remains today. Now, as you can imagine, the vandalizing of the statue and its removal is part of a larger process of a critical re-examination of Christopher Columbus and the mythology that grew around him as a discoverer of the so-called New World. The removal of the statue was only a visible symbol, I think, of a deeper re-examination of a conquest, or now we've got some sound, or colonist worldview that is not as easily removed from our consciousness. A critical consciousness awakening, a conscious awakening has been occurring when we fully realize the insidiousness of this doctrine of discovery, of which the heroic tales told about Columbus are only one example. Telling the truth about Columbus's discovery of America also means telling about the annihilation of a people. The subjugating of indigenous cultures, and questioning the assumption that nothing culturally worthwhile was already here in this place that was discovered. The poignant example, of course, this weekend is the trend from celebrating Columbus Day to a more honoring of a National Indigenous Peoples Day. We are now telling stories that oftentimes were not told, stories that disturb some of our previous worldview. We know that in his own journals, Columbus cites how easily Native people could be enslaved and exploited. And he quickly proceeded to do so. We know that Columbus opened the door to many ills that forever harmed the tribes, including a mass migration of settlers into the New World, massacres, policies of genocide, the introduction of diseases, killing millions of indigenous people to take their homelands and disrupting a century-old way of life, all in the name of God and manifest destiny. In the re-examining of these stories that we have told, we are able to actually observe and re-examine our own worldview. A worldview, as has been defined as a set of beliefs about fundamental aspects of reality that ground and influence our perceptions, our thinking, our knowing, and our doing. It might sound a bit academic of a definition, but I feel it's helpful for us to recognize the pervasive influence that our unexamined worldviews indeed have on our perceptions, on our thinking, on our knowing, and on our doing. Our worldviews are often invisible to us, but they have a lot of observable power over us. Our worldviews are like water that we swim in. Our worldviews are like filters from which we view and interpret the world, even when we are not aware of those filters or how they influence us, and I might add, often limit us as well. If our religion is to be powerful in our lives, it must allow us, invite us, and encourage us to re-examine our underlying assumptions about the world, to actually observe our worldviews rather than merely be captured by them or unconscious of them. And I'm one of these people who think that our religion should be powerful in our lives. That religion should be sometimes disrupt us rather than just comfort us. That religion should sometimes wake us up rather than lull us into complacency or comfort or complicity. So many of us in our Unitarian Universalist congregations know the power of worldviews and the disruption that can occur in our worldviews in order to widen our lens or our understanding of our world, the divine, or ourselves. Many of us talk about this disruption of our worldview, about leaving behind the religion of one's youth, in which we've questioned some of the beliefs that we had inherited of human nature, of spirit, of the world. And although we might be able to speak about these particular shifts in a casual or a cavalier way today, for some of us, this was not an easy shift from one worldview to another. It may have included loss, disorientation, and disillusion along the way, even as it may have led to liberation, to freedom, and a greater acceptance of our whole selves. These worldview shifts are not easy when they occur, but they do occur. There was an organization, a community organization that I was once part of that created this button that you could wear that said, "Shifts happen." Had to be really careful with my enunciation. We want to be sensitive. We want to be compassionate and understanding of one another as we are often in the presence of tender work within our own minds, our hearts, and our souls when we go through these kinds of shifts in our worldview, in how we see things. And my friends, we are going through some collective shifts in our worldviews right now. I agree with the astronaut Edgar Mitchell, who stated that, and I quote, "The most powerful step people can take toward achieving their highest potential is the willingness and the ability to explore and understand their worldviews." We are at a significant juncture, a discomforting juncture in our world now when we are recognizing the dissolving of a worldview that has dominated our thinking for so long that we don't even recognize it as a worldview. We just define it that this is the way things are. You hear what I'm saying? To be willing to have this ability to examine our worldviews, in my opinion, is part of our own religion making. According to the cultural anthropologist Robert Redfield, there are only two observable essential forms of worldview to choose from today. One, he says, we might call the dominant worldview, since it's been gaining dominance over 5,000 years of our 2 to 6 million year existence as a species. So about 1% of our species' life, depending on how you figure it. And the other is increasingly being called the Indigenous Worldview, which is estimated to have characterized about 95% of the earth-honoring societies on our earth. Let's make that distinction together, okay? So in the dominant worldview, the tendency is to think that only humans have spirit. In the indigenous worldview, spirit pervades all. In the dominant worldview, there's a tendency to think that only humans matter. In the indigenous worldview, mutual relatedness is what matters. In the dominant worldview, humans are the pinnacle. In the indigenous worldview, humans are the younger siblings within all living things. In the dominant worldview, humans are often restless, feeling homeless in the world of nature. In the indigenous worldview, humans are placeful and feel at home. Perhaps you can get a sense of this distinction, these different worldviews, different ways of understanding what is, and how the worldview impacts what we perceive, what we do, and how we act in the world. In the intriguing book, Restoring the Kinship Worldview, Indigenous leaders from around the world hold up some of the worldview precepts that seem to define a way of viewing the world, perceiving the world, and acting in the world that is distinctive from our dominant, oftentimes unconscious, imperialistic, dominant, and conquest view of the world. So obvious in the Discover doctrine. They propose that we need to rebalance. Since many of the attitudes and the practices that come from this dominant worldview are and could only tend to contribute to our harmful relationship with nature, our transgenerational harm and trauma towards indigenous people, and our exploitation and disregard of the earth's resources, and our own personal and collective well-being. The indigenous worldview sensitizes us to our essential interconnectedness, our interrelationship with all that is, and with each other. Gabor Mate, the psychiatrist, points out that in the native traditions there's a greeting, all my relations. So when we say hello or goodbye, they say, all my relations. We are social creatures by nature, he writes. We could not have evolved as individualists. We simply would not have survived on our own. So being in community means to be embedded in our nature. We're just wired that way. From a relational point of view, we then begin to look at peacemaking and restorative justice as bringing things back into some sense of harmony and relation with one another. When there is a transgression, oftentimes in our dominant worldview, we think about how does one materially compensate the person who has been harmed. But in a relational, indigenous point of view, we also look at how have the relationships been harmed as well. Indigenous cultures, perhaps as you already know, have a circle process that has been brought into European culture in various places over the years, including community activists and those in the restorative justice movement and those in the feminist movement. These practices, I think, are worth listing, so that we can begin to think about, even outside of the circle process that has a particular focus, there might be ways that these practices can inform our peacemaking practices with one another, our relationship to one another, and bring healing. So some of the perspectives of the circle process is to listen with respect, that each person gets a chance to talk. One person talks at a time. Don't cut people off. Speak for yourself and not as a representative of any group. And it's okay to disagree. No name-calling or attacking. Go with me for a moment to that place where we could, in a more broader, continual, consistent way, engage in those kinds of practices in the culture in which we live right now. It seems to me, and it saddens me, that oftentimes we do the exact opposite of that. How does it seem to you? But we do not need to be defined by our current circumstances. How we show up. Can we be an instrument of peace? Can we be part of the healing that wants to occur? There are some guidelines in this circle practice that I also want to list. They include listen from the heart, be attentive and sincere, bearing witness rather than being reactive. Try deep, compassionate listening. Speaking from the heart. Speak honestly from your own true stories, sharing your journey, not philosophical or abstract ideas, but what it is that you know personally. Speak concisely. Practice clarity and simplicity of language, not verbose or rambling. Spontaneity, not a prepared statement, not rehearsed, but dare to show up honestly and see what wants to be said through you to the other. This is a very high standard to meet. But I just want to imagine for a moment that if we tweaked our ways of interacting just a little bit towards some of these, that there could be ripples of peacemaking that could flow through each of us. So there are many teachers arising who are pointing out to us the limits of our dominant worldview and who are teaching us this kinship worldview, this indigenous worldview. And one of these teachers, as I mentioned earlier, is Robin Wall Kimmerer. And I know that some members of our congregation have read her book, Braiding Sweetgrass, Indigenous Wisdom, Scientific Knowledge, and the Teaching of Plants. She's a botanist. She's a citizen of the Potawatomi Nation. And she provides us with unique perspectives that I think come from her own exploration, but also from her own direct experiences. One of those experiences, I think, she tells in a story that I'll share with you. She was 18 years old. She was entering forestry school. And she was telling the people at the school why it is, the reason that she wanted to study botany. And she said it was because she wanted to know why asters and goldenrod looked so beautiful together. Can you see those colors now? She goes on to say, these are amazing displays of this bright chrome yellow and deep purple of New England aster, and they look stunning together, she went on to say, and the two plants so often intermingle rather than living apart from one another. And I wanted to know why this was. I thought that surely in the order and the harmony of the universe, there would be an explanation for why they looked so beautiful together. And the faculty told her in no uncertain terms that that was not science. That if she was interested in beauty, she should go to art school, which was really demoralizing for her as a freshman, just starting and connecting with her own passion and her own unique questions. She came to understand that the question wasn't going to be answered by science, that science as a way of knowing explicitly sets aside sometimes our emotions, our aesthetic reactions to things, for good reason. But we have to analyze them as if they were just plants and others, as if they were just material and not spirit and matter together. And then she goes on to explain, this is like the touche part of her story. She says, yes, as it turns out, there's a very good biophysical explanation for why those plants grow together. So it's a matter of aesthetics, and it's a matter of ecology. Those complementary colors of purple and gold together, being opposites on the color wheel, they're so vivid they actually attract far more pollinators than if those grew apart from one another. So each of these plants benefits by combining its beauty with the beauty of the other. And that's a question, she says, that science can address, certainly as well as artists. And I just think that why is the world so beautiful is a question that we ought to be entertaining. I learned in my reading in preparation for my reflections with you today that during that trail of tears, that march of indigenous people across the country to resettle them and so forth, that in the evening, the mothers would often sing a lullaby to the children. It was that lullaby, that Navajo prayer that we have included in today's service. In beauty I walk, with beauty before me I walk, with beauty behind me I walk, and so forth. And then they would ask the children, during our walk, during our march, did you see the beautiful grasses on the prairie? Did you see the beautiful colors in the sky? Whatever they had experienced that day, they also paid attention to what was beautiful in the world. Beauty, harmony, well-being, and balance. We all need more of that. So I want to invite us each day, no matter what kind of day we're going through, to ask ourselves, what beauty did I notice today? What beauty gifted me today. And I also want us to ask ourselves, what beauty can I create in this world? How, through my own interactions and relationships with one another, can I bring forth more beauty, so that indeed, in beauty, we can walk?
This morning, our Share the Plate offering will be shared with Lutheran Community Services. And LCS helps individuals and families address food, housing, and other essential needs. They serve their clients with dignity and respect. And LCS has been serving low-income families in Wilmington and Newcastle County, Delaware, since 1959. Their services include emergency financial assistance, food pantries, and some health services, which include delivery of prescribed foods or assistance with quitting the smoking habit. I ask you to please give generously to support this important, long-time community resource and service in our community. To review, there are a number of options for giving this morning. For those of you here in the sanctuary, you may place a check or cash in the box at the rear of the sanctuary. You can also mail a check to the church office, or you can go online to our website and donate. Additionally, you can use the Vanco Mobile Faith Engagement app on your smart device to make a contribution this morning. Thank you very much for your generosity. And I ask you now to please join in dedicating this morning's offering. to the work of this congregation, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action, we dedicate our lives, and these are offerings. This morning's chalice, even though it's being extinguished, may our commitment to peace and justice continue to burn brightly. Know that to go in peace is not passive, but it is a strong message as you carry the torch of compassion with a love that will not quit. We choose to stand on the side of love. Now let us join together in the singing of the hymn number 1006, O Brother Son, and please stand as you're able.
1066.
1066.
Lord, make us an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let us sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. Grant that we may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned. Amen.
Well, times are fine.
Just